All right, we're back from Puerto Rico and we are getting into some projects. So I told you guys I had some odds and ends to work on, so we are going to dig into our intercooler couplers. This one right here has a small tear in it. Pretty hard to get this camera to focus, but yeah, right where my fingertip is at. Small tear, but I thought I had them, spare couplers, but I don't. So while we have these couplers off, I'm just going to take a look at what we have on the car currently, and we are going to switch. We're going to switch everything over to black. I like the black couplers more. Just kind of blends in the engine bay. We don't have a lot of blue, so why get blue? But yeah, we're going to take apart these couplers in the front. That way we can get some measurements, get a whole nice set of spares and new ones to pop on the front. And then this is my homemade boost leak tester I made many years back, and we can't use it yet, but that'll be the final step. Once we get everything replaced in the system here, then we'll go through and we'll give it a nice boost leak test. So yeah, let's pop off these couplers and do some measuring. All right, we got all of our couplers laid out here. So we just got to take measurements. I'm going to clean up the pipes and blow it all out a bit. It's got some oil in there. But yeah, we'll take some measurements with our caliper here. And then we're going to order up a whole new set of couplers. We got how many to replace? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 5, 6. Where's 5 and 6? 1, 2. Let's see. Oh yeah, we had one black one. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 to replace. Yep. So we got all the piping out, and we're glad we did it. Not only because we think we had a few cracked couplers, but as you can see, the intercooler was definitely getting some oil in it. So it's a good thing. We'll take some acetone, swirl it around in there, and get that intercooler nice and cleaned out, and then give it a nice, spit shine on the outside, so she looks clean before we go back in with it. So, yeah, we'll do some measurements and do some cleaning of all our parts here. All right, so getting back to our labeling, a bit overkill, but you can see 2.75 to 3.0 front intercooler. So now we just print out 4 more of those, and we'll move on to our next section of couplers for our spares. Alright, sorry about that. I did pretty bad about filming when we were putting the intercooler piping back together because, well, it was a struggle. I forget, basically I just forget how horribly all this intercooler piping fits together. So it was a fight, and the last thing I could do is try to get on the camera during that. So we've got all our new couplers in. This one we stuck with blue because that's what I had, and I had some new stuff. You can see this is the old one. I had some new stuff to cut up to size, and you know, I didn't want to just buy couplers just to get colors, you know. So anyway, yeah, moving on. We've got my makeshift boost leak tester hooked up to the turbo. Clamps are as tight as I can get them. I don't know how I feel about that seal, but we are about to find out. So always boost leak test your intercooler piping before you you know, go out and rip on it, because 9 times out of 10 one of the couplers isn't sitting right, or you didn't tighten a clamp enough, or whatever the case. So you want to find out now, so you're not on the side of the road. I've been there, I've done it, or at the track, and it sucks. So boost leak test. We've got our soapy water, and then we will hook up our air compressor to our makeshift homemade boost leak tester. So new black couplers on the front as well. So nice new couplers, no signs of obviously rips or anything like we had before. So let's give her some PSI. We're gonna start at what do we got the gauge? Just under 30, sorry, just under 30, and then we'll work our way up a little bit. Could probably drop that down to, like, you know, 25. I don't see more than 20 pounds of boost in real life, so, but you do want to run it through a little bit more than what the car is going to boost. So let's get to it. Alright, as I feared, this is not sealing well, so we gotta redo that. So we are going to try not going past this big ledge. Hard for the camera to focus, but yeah, there's a big ledge right where my thumb is, so we're going to try having the coupler seal right around this guy instead. Okay, let's try this. Oh, and by the way, zoom out. Well, I guess I'll bring this in. The Milwaukee high torque extended reach, or sorry, not high torque, high speed extended reach. This thing has been clutch. Like without it on this project in the past, I would have just dreaded it because how poorly the clamps and couplers fit on my intercooler piping. I'm like going on and off like 50 times with the clamps. This has been a lifesaver. If you don't have an electric ratchet, get one. I haven't owned one in all of my years. All right, back to this. I don't know. Gonna regroup, and then I'll get back to you guys once I regroup. We'll regroup here. We are going to remove the we basically removed the boost controller from the hot side here. That way, hopefully that stops our leak. And then this barb, just gonna put a little bit of Flex Seal tape over it. Plug up that barb, and hopefully continue testing. Some pretty darn sticky tape, so let's hope that does it. Alright, let's go for it again. Let's see here. Our Flex Seal tape came off. Holding pretty well though. We are back at it, making our AN lines. I spared you guys some of the AN line making, but we're at the point where we're doing a pressure test. This is a bit overkill, but I just want to be sure. So we've rigged up a gauge on the one end, and the kit that I bought comes with all sorts of different adapters. So you've got all the way up to 16 AN, down to 3 AN, which is what we're working with, is the -3 AN. So one end is rigged up with a -3 AN to this T, and then the other end is just capped off with a -3 AN plug. So then all we do at that point is we take our end that's plugged, we put it in the water, and we fill this end up with air, and we see how well it holds pressure. So been a little tricky to get this valve to hold air for an extended period of time without having to sit here and hold this on here, but we've got 120 psi in the line, and I'm looking down by our fitting for bubbles, and I'm not seeing anything hissing out, so that's good. You can see on the gauge 120 psi. We let off. Oh, there we go, it's holding it. Nice. So yeah, now the valve's actually holding the air in there. We can take a closer look at what we got going. Sweet. Bring you guys in a little closer. Alright, so you can see with our pressure gauge, we're at almost 120 there, sitting inside of our -3 AN line. And on this end in the water bucket we have a plug and a cap on that end, and we do not see any bubbles coming out of there. So this line is good, it's holding air. So on this end, basically a -3 AN adapter going to our gauge, and then on the end of it we just have a Schrader valve for like filling bike tires, car tires, And yeah, so that line is holding there. So we are good to go. You can take it out of our bucket of water. And that should complete our circuit. So we've already tested this line, so I didn't show you guys that one. This one's good now. And then this is our last one going down to our slave cylinder. So I'll release the pressure and we'll move on to next steps. All right, so we're back at it in the garage. You guys saw the other day, we basically have just been doing odds and ends. You know, the transmission is in. We got some of our, basically all of our intercooler piping is back in. You saw us pressure test all that. Intake back on, everything buttoned up engine-wise. And now Jenny is back. He was here for the subframe install. He's been really helping me knock out little projects. So right now I got him working on new belts. So these belts have been squealing and squeaking they've been on here about 3 years, which in my opinion, 3 years is not that long for a belt, Matt, to be squealing. But I don't know, I'm just gonna hopefully replace it. I hope it's not the pulley. I think it's the belt, but we'll find out once we replace it. But yeah, he helped me basically bleed our new clutch system. So we got the PTFE -3 lines coming here to the delay valve and then going down to our slave. No leaks. We seem to have installed it properly this time. So those collets that I showed you are now crushed and seem to be sealing. So clutch is bled. Yeah, it's just basically odds and ends now. So Matt's gonna do the belts. I'm gonna go in, finally get our interior back together. So we've got these wire looms that we need to tack up with our P-clamps. So I'll do my best, kind of update you guys along the way, and yeah, we'll get after it. So here we go. All right, so we had Matt working on the belt situation, and you have to, on the KASR power steering pump, you got to get to this little bolt, and we believe it's a 15, but these holes on the pulley, there's not like enough room. I'll take my 15 here, which we know it's a 15 because the 14 doesn't fit over the head. And look at the 15, it will not, just barely will not fit through any of these holes on the pulley. So pretty much gonna force us to, yeah, take the pulley off, and then I guess we're gonna wallow out one of the holes so in the future we can actually service these belts. So yeah, I don't know how I did it before, but I mean, you have to get at it, and it's sandwiched behind that pulley. There's no way, you have to get at it from the front side. So yeah, we'll reconvene once we make some improvements. All right, retake. We were wrong. So it is a 14, and we just did not have this thing like fully lined up, I guess. So yeah, Matt was able to, we cut the belt off and then tested it again, and you can definitely fit a 14 on that thing. So belt had to come off anyway, but now that he's got that free, should be able to swing the whole pump to install the new one. So we learned something, Matt. All right, garage update. It's been a while. I've been pretty bad about these odds and end projects and kind of updating you guys because I'm just go, go, go. I want to get this stuff done. It is springtime. We're almost to May now. So it's 420 today though. So we're celebrating tonight with a little Assetto Corsa drifting bash, and Tom Bonema, however you say it. Him and the DWG guys released their 3.0 cars. It's like a 20 car pack, so we're gonna get it tonight on some Assetto, so that should be really fun. But yeah, before we get on, we're just tackling a few projects, so I'll run you through what we've done off camera. So the interior is back together. We got our wire looms back together. We got our ECU back in the car. So everything in here is buttoned up, and it feels really good to have everything secured. And we got our nice additional mount here to support the center console. Not only support it, but keep it level with our shifter trim, so it looks real nice. All right, so interior's back together. We did a little green touch-up paint and clear coat right there to protect it from future dings. Might throw a little clear vinyl on top of this and on the bash bar, where you can see it's rubbing off the powder coat, and same with this side. So little projects. What else? Yeah, so interior's fully back together on this side. Vacuumed it out, looks really good. You guys saw we got our horn button in, so horn, all of the creature comforts. Trim's in, everything's in on the interior, so we should be good to go there. But right now, I'm working on the exhaust. So it didn't dawn on me until a few days later, but I could not for the life of me figure out why my exhaust hangers wouldn't fit anymore. So you can see this one's basically in here like a freaking rubber band because it's not long enough. But the subframe has 2 mounting spots for our hangers. You got one here at the front of the subframe and then one here at the rear. And I couldn't figure out why my hangers wouldn't fit anymore. But then I remembered our new subframe bushings brought the subframe up probably about a 1/2 inch. So it's supposed to correct roll center, and then thus that brought our mounts up about a 1/2 to 3/4 inch. So it would not fit anymore. But so yeah, the ones in the rear seem to fit just fine. How about these two off the subframe? Not so much. So we got the trans jack supporting it in the middle. This thing's coming in handy for random stuff like this. But yeah, we should be good to go now because I got these pretty cool rubber hangers. So these things, they've got quite a bit of adjustability on their spacing. They go all the way up to 3 inches, which should be plenty for what we need. So we're gonna hop down there and get some stuff installed and hopefully get our exhaust finalized and ready to rip. So I'll update you guys once we're done. I think I'm gonna skip the GoPro and some of that stuff for this session. I mean, you guys are just gonna watch me kind of struggle and fight with an exhaust. So I'll give you the satisfaction of the finished product once it's done. All right, it's Friday, April 21st, and we are back in the garage. We are pretty close to starting this thing. If everything goes well tonight, we should be firing it up for the first time since November. So good 5-6 months of sitting. So we just have a few things left to do. Our diff has no gear oil in it, so we'll get the gear oil in the diff. We've got 5 gallons of some fresh premium to add to the tank. And then we just have to fill the reservoir. So our power steering, we got a new rack. So we definitely have to fill up our reservoir and bleed our new rack and our steering system. So I will get to it and try to take you guys along for the best experience I can. It's pretty hard with one person. I definitely commend these YouTubers who do it, like Taylor Ray and others, man. It's hard to make good angles and kind of stay on it while you're doing everything else. But we're gonna start with the MT90 and throw that bad boy in the diff. MT90 is the good stuff. Trans, we got it in the trans and in the diff, so let's get to it. All right, we're ready for the first start. I recruited Kylie to be my test dummy here, and then so she can steer back and forth and hopefully help me bleed the steering rack. So we got all our ATF right here, and we are ready to fill it as we need to. So let's see how it goes. All right, so you got it, hon? You remember what to do?
How to start a car.
So make sure you're in neutral, first off. I think it is. Right? It's definitely in neutral. Good. Okay. Now, if I tell you to shut it off, you shut it off right away, okay? So, are you ready? Confidence is far. And before you actually crank it, prime the fuel system. So like, don't turn it on all the way. Just listen for the fuel pump to turn on. Keep going, one more. There you go, and do that a few times to get fuel up to the rail here. Yep, do it a few more.
Your epoxy just shut off.
That's fine. Oh, all right, one more time.
It's like alarm.
It's fine. Do one more, prime. We got fuel pressure, so now push the clutch in and try to start it. for a sec. Yeah, I don't know. Go back the other way, all the way the other way. Doesn't seem to want to do it to the left. Huh? Or I'm sorry, to the right. I'm not hearing it as much. It usually does that. Don't go like aggressively crazy to the left. Just like, yeah, stop right there, you know? And then, yeah, just keep doing that. Don't have to go aggressively crazy to each side. Alright, go all the way right once and hold it all the way right, like all the way to the lock. Alright, hold it there. Or like, you don't have to like hold it there, but just leave it there. Sorry. Come back to the left and just leave it there. Nice. All right, so far so good. All right, update. So you guys saw that little clip of Kylie helping me bleed the power steering. And now we have wheels on the car, at least on the rear. I want these on here so we can see everything kind of rotate and work as we try to run it through some gears and see if everything feels good with the clutch. Gosh, fingers crossed. But goddamn, look at how weird it looks. It's just like all of the clearance, man. Like, it is insane how much clearance we have now. I mean, let's take a tape measure just for the hell of it. Let's see what we got. Alright, so the tape measure says we've got 9 inches on the passenger side of clearance. And then on the driver's side, we didn't get our measurements perfect, Luke. We're 8 inches on the driver's side, but plenty of clearance. We could actually lower this thing down now a bit more, and obviously we have no chance of that tire coming up 9 inches and rubbing. I mean, good God. I hope, I hope we don't have problems with that. And something's really, really wrong. But anyway, yeah, we're going to start it up and run it through some gears and see how she goes. All right, let's give her a go. Man, first time seeing wheels on this thing in 5-6 months. Look at the clearance. I measured this side, we have 8 inches on the driver's side. We got a whopping 9 inches on the passenger side. There's no way we're rubbing now, boys. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know, I'm gonna start it up, try running it through the gears here and make sure she shifts as she should, which fingers crossed. No issues with the clutch, hopefully no weird noises. See how it goes. Well, it runs, we know that, but now let's just hope that the clutch and trans shifts pretty good. We'll do some of that on the jack stands. Please, fingers crossed for me. Seemed to work. Definitely got our parking brake dragging a little bit, but minor things, man. It shifted into first, second, third pretty good. That's the majority of which gears we use. So fun. The delay valve does feel a little bit weird. I don't know. We'll have to see about adjusting that. But right now, I have the jet in that has the most delay you can possibly have. So I don't know. It is what it is, but. Very excited, guys. It's been a long 5 or 6 months, and I really appreciate you watching. If you've been watching and following along, and it means one last update since I'm excited. I can't believe it's April 21st, 2023, and on our first start after 5 or 6 months, it's snowing. Leave it to Minnesota. Look at that snow on the Suburban. But we're started. We got time. I mean, it's pretty motivating to see she's running and most of the way there by the time summer rolls around. And that's what I mean. We got time. We got a little bit of time left. But yeah, man. Oh, you know, you guys, I mean, some of you know how it goes if you're into project cars and especially drifting, but man, man, what a good feeling. Let's go.